HarperCollins presents By the Fire We Carry, The Generations-Long Fight for Justice on Native Land by Rebecca Nagle. This is the author. A note before we begin. This audiobook includes accounts of murder, suicide, racial violence, and sexual violence. For a detailed list of trigger warnings and for additional reading materials, don't forget to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider. Vertigo is a terrible mode of travel. It returns you perpetually to the funnel of terror. I want it to stop, and am furious that fear has found me here. In the sun, where people are laughing, doing ordinary things. I want to be ordinary. I mean, with no worry that my house will be burned behind me, that my grandchildren will become the enemy. Here is the gravel singing under my feet. There are gulls weaving the sky with horizon. Alligators watch from the waters. I walk with my friend to have lunch on the pier. I panic. I want to know that I am worthy of all this sky, the earth, this place to breathe. I peer out from the house I have constructed from the hole in my heart. I have returned to the homelands beloved by my people, who were marched to the west by the authority of a piece of paper. I keep warm by the fire carried through cruelty. Joy Harjo, Returning from the Enemy, Part 3. Prologue. On the outskirts of Nashville, tucked between open pastures and suburban cul-de-sacs, stands a museum dedicated to the legacy of Andrew Jackson. The building was once his home. In July of 2015, I arrived to carry out a family tradition. After going through the main house and paying the entrance fee, I nervously guided myself to Andrew Jackson's grave. Our 7th president is buried behind a black wrought iron fence in a neatly kept English garden, on grounds that betray their former life as a plantation. Staff in period clothing milled about. I waited until I thought no one was looking, and then I spat on his grave. President Andrew Jackson's signature policy was the ethnic cleansing of Indigenous peoples from the territorial limits of the United States to west of the Mississippi. Fearing that Cherokees would not survive on the land of our creation, my ancestors, against the will and government of the Cherokee people, agreed to leave. For this, they were killed. In my family, Andrew Jackson's betrayal is personal. A woman had seen me spit. She started yelling. "Don't believe everything you read," she screamed. Her statement confused me. What was she afraid I had read? The museum text surrounding us? The lionizing biographies available in the gift shop? The popular version of American history? The fight over truth is so bitter because power flows from the dominant narrative. The power to shape both public sentiment and public policy. In the telling of the American story, Andrew Jackson, like most U.S. presidents, is a household name. In contrast, the history of Indigenous peoples is barely known, and the stories that are popular are mostly wrong. Perhaps the woman was afraid of the book I would one day write. In the summer of 2017, I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw a post from the Muscogee legal scholar Sarah Deer. It was about a court case I had not yet heard of. A man on Oklahoma's death row was arguing the state didn't have jurisdiction to execute him because he was Native, and the murder happened on the Muscogee reservation. Oklahoma argued that reservation no longer existed. Before Muscogee Nation came to present-day Oklahoma, the tribe's territory spanned what is now Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. In the 1830s, the U.S. military rounded Muscogee.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?